Round of applause. Second group, you wouldn't be there without the help of faculty, staff, administrators, coaches, tutors, interpreters. They have helped you with their academics over the years. They have supported you socially and emotionally. They've been a big part of your lives. And they will still be there when you come back to visit us as alums to tell us how you're doing. So let's hear it for the AC employees, the faculty, staff, administrators, tutors, that whole list. Thank you, you guys. But there's a third group too, actually, largely invisible. Peter Gregory, who is the president of Alumni Association, spoke to the seniors on Friday night. And he said to them, do you know that tuition doesn't cover the cost of your education? It seemed like a surprise. It is true in colleges and schools across the country. Alarmingly, it covers about 75%. So all that tuition you paid covers about 75% of running the school for the 424 students that attended this year. So where does the rest come from? Because we need it to create the programs that we want to create. Well, it comes from another group of people. True that some of them are in the larger community here. They're family foundations and other foundations that believe in what we do. We think we're in the life-changing business. Sometimes we're in the life-saving business. But that is what we do. If you do that, if you don't do that in education, you're probably in the wrong game. So they believe in us and they support us. But there is a surprisingly bigger group that are right in the room. Parents that go beyond tuition, amazingly, faculty and staff that give up the hours to sit down with you make a big contribution to your education as well. And I'm talking about the people that sit down and teach you your classes, that serve you your meals, that set this whole gymnasium up. They are part of a third group that has helped you to get where you are. And they largely don't want to be thanked by and large, but I think it's worth today recognizing that third group that has helped to get you where you are today. So I want to say thank you to the army of additional supporters we have here. Thank you. So I give you one piece of advice at the senior dinner, which was to take care of your families this weekend. I hope you're doing that. So I'm tapped out for advice. You don't get any more advice from me, but you do get a wish, a hope. And it's this. We want you to use your talents. We want you to be successful. We want that for you. We've worked with you to get that. But we recognize you're fortunate. We want you to recognize you're fortunate and develop a pass-it-forward mentality. Some of you have already done that with community service and the way you think of others. And my hope is that you can create opportunities similar to the ones that you've benefited from yourself. So my real hope is that you develop that mentality to pass it on. And it is within that spirit that I want to invite Andrew, Luke, Nadia, and Yasmin to the podium to give the senior gift. Thank you.
Good afternoon. As student government representatives, we have made it our mission to improve student life here at Allendale, Columbia. But because the lives of those attending Allendale are influenced by more than just us current students, today, the class of 2017 would like to give a gift to the community as a whole. Having physically disabled students at our school has opened our class's mind into seeing potential improvements that could be made so that our campus becomes a more handicap-friendly environment.
We would like to contribute to this school by giving a gift of accessibility. This gift will make Allendale more inclusive to those who are hard of hearing, have a debilitating sports injury, or any other physical disability. It will not only make the school easier to navigate for students and faculty, but also allow for a greater range of potential visitors, guest speakers, and students to attend our campus.
The class of 2017 is proud to announce that it will endow $1,200 to a large construction project that Allendale is planning to undertake in the upcoming years. We ask that this money goes to wheelchair ramps, visual emergency alarm systems, and possible elevators, all in the hopes of making AC more accessible to not just students, but also parents, guardians, relatives, visitors, and teachers.
While this money only constitutes a small part of the larger endowment, we believe that it is an important first step toward helping all maneuver the school and advocate for improved accessibility. This initiative is not only the beginning of what we hope to be a citywide campaign for accessibility to all, but also an initiative toward increasing the diversity of the population to whom this campus is available. To us, the class of 2017, this is a step towards making Allendale Columbia a leader in yet another field, this time disability rights. Thank you.
Well, on behalf of the entire school, I want to thank the senior class for a gift that is both thoughtful and will benefit many people in the future. So it is exactly the first step in my hope. So thank you very much on behalf. Let's give them a round of applause for the thought that went into that. Thank you. One of the traditions we have here at commencement is to present the Carl L. Stevenson Award for 2017, which is an award, sort of our top award given to a teacher that's made a big contribution to the school. So I will present that award right now. Bear with me, I have to read a little bit here. The Carl L. Stevenson Award is presented annually to a member of the faculty who has contributed to the school community in a manner complementary to the dedicated service rendered by the late Carl L. Stevenson as a loyal and faithful friend to the school. Mr. Stevenson retired as Assistant Vice President for Kodak after many years of service. He was active in the United Community Chess Program and received a number of awards for his service to the city of Rochester and to the Monroe County. He was appointed to the State Commission on Employment Benefits by then Governor Rockefeller and served on a number of boards, including our own, where he was president from 1966 to 1970. In giving this award for the 44th time, we recognize a member of our faculty who has served Allendale Columbia and her students for many years. Laurie Wan, will you please join me on stage? I just said to Laurie, you have to stand there awkwardly and hold this while you know the drill, while I read this. Laurie's been leading the way in art education at AC for 16 years. In addition to her talent and vision for creating a second to none, that's second to none in this city, arts program, Laurie is a sleeves rolled up teacher who is willing to take on any task that results in a better learning environment for AC students. She is a teacher's teacher who colleagues trust, admire, and try to emulate. Perhaps more than anything else, Laurie is standing beside me now because she stands out amongst her peers as someone who is constantly trying to innovate and push her program forward to create curricular options that maximize students' potential. Not long after her arrival at AC, she was one of the first upper school teachers to approach me to say that the AP Studio Art curriculum was not meeting the needs of our students. And, of course, she already had an alternative ready to go. The course that she has created for advanced students is now a great model to follow as we seek to create similar gold standard experiences in other disciplines. Laurie is a huge proponent of getting AC students off campus and into the region to collaborate with partners and design new, authentic experiences for her students. Most recently, the honors seminar students in her charge held their own exhibition, Departure, at the Joy Gallery in downtown Rochester. Laurie is not leaving AC, sometimes but not always true of the recipient of this award. So we will continue to benefit from her great teaching, visionary thinking, and kindness for what I hope will be many years to come. Please join me again in congratulating Laurie White.
Good afternoon, students, teachers, parents, and the community of Allendale, Columbia. I would like to express how honored I feel to be able to give this speech. Also, thank you for coming out today to celebrate the class of 2017. As cliche as it sounds, Allendale, Columbia has changed me in many ways. I joined AC in 8th grade. I was an awkward 8th grader with a bad haircut, but I was introduced to something that no other school had exposed me to before: community. As time went on, my class entered high school. As many adults have expressed to me, high school is one of the hardest times of your life, having to deal with unwanted acne, drama, and being labeled the class that always lost. I would eventually understand why. That last part is right. We have always lost. From Spirit Week to forms, we have landed in last place. But I will never forget our first Spirit Week and how our class managed to come together and made Allendale Airlines a reality through our skit. Or how in 10th grade, when Luke danced to Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up during Spirit Week. But let's never forget how last fall, Danielle, Phelan, Dylan, Yasmin, and I participated in this year's victorious senior form. I have been in this class for 5 years. We have grown together, fallen apart, and seen a lot of people leave. During the winter of our senior year, when senioritis was creeping up on many, we as a class decorated the lounge. Various string lights were hung up, a pop-up tree was placed in the corner, and a Hanukkah sign was put up. And even after all the decorations came down, it still hung up in the lounge. These were the few things that made our disgusting and smelly lounge into a place I call home. I will be forever thankful for the people in my class. The best advice I have learned throughout my years of high school is that no matter what difficult situation you are placed in, your life will go on. And that hill you have to climb, you'll make it over. You have made it through high school. There are no more SATs or ACTs or APs to stress about. You've made it through what many people say are the worst years of one's life. Thus, you can make it through anything. Even if we are labeled for being the class that lost, today we have won. All 32 unique individuals heading to who knows where to do who knows what have won. Allendale, Columbia gave me my voice and taught us about how we should express ourselves. Thank you. It started out as a feeling, which then grew into a hope, which then turned into a quiet thought, which then turned into a quiet word. And then that word grew louder and louder, till it was a battle cry. I'll come back when you call me. No need to say goodbye. Just because everything's changing doesn't mean it's never been this way before. All you can do is try to know who your friends are as you head off to the war. Pick a star on the dark horizon and follow the light. You'll come back when it's over. No need to say goodbye. You'll come back when it's over. No need to say goodbye. We're back to the beginning. It's just a feeling and no one knows yet. But just because they can't feel it too doesn't mean that you have to forget. Let your memories go stronger and stronger till they're before your eyes. You'll come back when they call you. No need to say goodbye. You'll come back when they call you. No need to say goodbye.
Let's give him another round of applause. It's a long walk. While I'm popping up to introduce our commencement speaker, who really needs no introduction, Arthur Cruz, Artie, has been an AC. He just completed 24 years of teaching at AC in the computer science department. He got his bachelor's from Columbia University. He is an extraordinary teacher. He is the schedule guru. We have the world's most complicated schedule. If you've tried to look at your sons and daughters' schedule, you know you don't understand that. But they do, thanks to him. He is a chaperone extraordinaire and has been involved in students' lives here for, as I said, 24 years. He is not leaving AC. He wanted me to make that clear, but he is mid-career and is taking a year to explore another opportunity for a little while. He's going to stay on as a robotics coach and as our scheduler, but he's going to take a break from teaching computer science to work with a secret government organization, which I think is great because I think our government organizations need as much help as they can get right now. So without further ado, I'll introduce Artie Cruz to be our commencement speaker.
Thank you, Mick. I was told by my longtime colleague, Ted Hunt, that I should open with a joke, but I don't have that in me. Rather than humor, I will give you honesty. Writing this speech has been one of the hardest things I've done in recent memory. I hope you find something meaningful in it. And in the end, I'm glad I'm doing this now. Seniors, faculty, parents, honored guests, family, loved ones. After being asked to deliver the commencement address, I was terrified. I wondered whether I would have anything to say. I have been a teacher of computer science for many years. Maybe, just maybe, I thought, I could find a principle from CS that can be applied to regular life. I searched my memory for often repeated words that I said to my young students. Many of them should remember and recall the reminder. Pay attention to the boundary conditions. Boundaries in a program exist between two or more known states of a solution. Things get tricky at boundaries because this is precisely where the states fluctuate and change. How well a programmer thinks about and deals with these conditions determines much of how successful the program will be. We encounter many boundaries in regular life. These lines help us to define the separation of the known from the unknown, the comfortable from the uncomfortable, the safe from the dangerous. You get the point. Today, I would like to speak briefly on the boundaries that define our sense of self. Inside this perimeter reside the beliefs, values, and principles upon which we base our identity. Outside are those that do not. I believe how each of us handles these edges determines much of our character and quality of life. They are worthy of our attention. I believe these intellectual and emotional boundaries should be permeable rather than rigid and closed. By this, I mean we should engage the world in a dance of give and take. We should reach out for new, different, uncomfortable, and foreign ideas, sometimes incorporating them into our worldview, sometimes rejecting them as poor fits. Conversely, we should also be willing to let go of old ideas that no longer serve us or that we outgrow. This can be difficult to achieve and to maintain. As an example, for me politically, the last year and a half has been troubling, particularly on social media. My feeds were overwhelmed with fake news and damaging rhetoric from my friends on both sides of the fence. It would have been easy for me to retreat and unfriend those with opposing viewpoints, but I did not want to create an echo chamber, a space in which all the opinions and ideas are just variations of those I already hold. I believe that path would have led to fragility and stagnation. Fragility, because my stances and ideas would no longer be challenged and consequently adapted, revised, and strengthened. Stagnation, because I would have closed myself off from any new perspectives. You are entering a stage
where you will be tested both intellectually and emotionally. Relish this time and engage with your professors and peers as fully as possible. Many of the challenges will be nothing more than intellectual games, such as whether your interpretation of the metaphor of Plato's cave is valid or not. But others will strike at the heart of you and shake the foundation of how you define and think of yourself. Do not shy away, retreat, or play denial games about the relevance of such questioning. Rather, develop the strength and will to stand by your convictions. Read books from opposing viewpoints. Talk to people with different beliefs. Question yourself and others. Pick a side and argue it. Above all, learn to listen. Sometimes you will come to hold your ideals more securely. Other times, you will learn to let them go to be replaced by other principles. Either way, you will eventually have the confidence that comes from having your identity, ideals, and beliefs tried and vindicated, and the broadening of perspective that comes from the exploration and the openness to others' viewpoints. In other words, you will grow in your capabilities and your boundaries will expand. You own the boundaries that define you. It's an obvious statement. It also means that you hold the responsibility to maintain and to protect them, whether you want to or not. Trust me, there are lots of people and institutions that are more than happy to put you into boxes and define your limits. Whole industries are built by playing on the fears that we are not attractive enough, smart enough, strong enough, or rich enough, that each of us is somehow inadequate. It is a lie. Each of you right now is beautiful, capable, and in possession of unique gifts. But my telling you, our telling you, is of little use if you do not see it in yourself. One of the greatest joys of teaching and one of its greatest pains is seeing potential in each of you. We rejoice when each of you reaches beyond the limit and gains in confidence. We are saddened when you believe you are not capable of even trying. This work, this effort, can only be done by you for yourself. One of my hopes for you is that as you engage the world and take risks, you also come to believe in yourself. But why do all of this work? Why trouble yourself with all of this effort? As you face disputes, adapt, change, and grow, hopefully your identity will expand to include others, maybe a significant other, possibly, if you are so inclined, a child, or maybe a community that shares a common vision, mission, and purpose. The best relationships and communities in which I have participated occurred when different people came together to serve a greater good, where we became a part of something larger, and it became a part of us. I was a little older than you are now when I made the decision to come to Rochester and accept the offer to join the faculty here at AC. Professionally, I had just finished a short and uninspiring stint on Wall Street. I knew I wanted to be a teacher. Personally, I came to Rochester precisely because I knew no one here. I wanted to see if I could build a life away from my family and friends in New York City. I was honored to be invited to join the community of educators here. I took a risk in coming here. What if I can't teach? What if I'm not good enough? What if I can't make friends? AC also took a risk in hiring someone with so little experience. It was an experiment far outside of my comfort zone, one that has lasted 25 years. I hope I have done right by you, my colleagues, and you, the students and families. I know I am a better person for it. I love this place. I love this place. It has become a permanent part of me. I will miss all of you, the sense of community, and the common purpose of educating the students that walk through our doors. Ultimately, oh geez, I should have rehearsed this out of myself. Excuse me for 1 second. Ultimately, I believe to engage in this work on self and identity is to improve one's capacity to love, not the saccharine pop music use of the term, but in the sense of we are all part of a brotherhood and sisterhood of men and women. There is far more that we share in common than divides us, and we are at our best when we are working together rather than striving against one another. And so, there it is. The punchline to this odd, roundabout talk about personal boundaries that started with computer science and ended with love. Pay attention to your definition of self. Allow it to be tried and tested so that it adapts, strengthens, and grows to include others in a community of mutual respect, compassion, and love. I hope you found some wisdom in my words. They are what my near 50 years of life have to offer today. Congratulations on this special day. Good luck to you on all the adventures and challenges to come. You are ready to take the next step. The world awaits you. Thank you.
It is that time. By virtue of the powers vested in me by the Allendale Columbia School Board of Trustees, it is my honor and privilege to award diplomas to the class of 2017. Congratulations.
All right, seniors. First row, you may stand. Cameras ready. Jeremy Abbott. Abdul Ahad Ajaz. Mateo Christopher Alexander. Juliana L. Bruno. Alexis G. Carter. Ivy Chen Yu Si. Representing our first class of Global Engagement Scholars, Danielle Chaproon. Also representing our first class of Global Engagement Scholars, Phelan Martin Conhetty. Megan Cooper.
Congratulations. Nice speech.
Dylan Daler.